Google was trying to buy this. I think they're out of Israel. This
Hmm.
Wiz security company for like
Yep.
23 billion. It was also rumored that Google was going to try to buy HubSpot for like roughly the same. Looks like
Yeah.
Google's maybe
Right.
trying to find their next big thing through
Hmm.
acquisition or whatever. But they turned it down. While Wiz hasn't said why, they wrote some internal letter or whatever. I
Hmm.
honestly wonder if they like risk assessment said, look, they're not going to be able to buy us. They're going to get that blocked. It's going to take literal years to get that
So
through.
I don't I don't know why that particular acquisition would be a problem, honestly. But and no, like you said, no one has said. But someone in passing, like some story said something like because of the CloudStrike thing,
Mm-hmm.
the price of security firms actually just went up
Yeah, probably
because
did.
there's going to be a lot of companies are going to start looking around for a different solution now, and maybe that had something to do with it. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they know roughly what they think they could get right through an IPO, which is what they're supposedly doing.
Hmm.
And they said, well, Google would buy us. Like, if it went the Activision route, that's 18 months. We could be public in 12 months. Start to do a little.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
interesting.
Watch Microsoft swoop in and try to buy them now because that's a very Microsoft thing to do.
Yeah. Um, hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Microsoft's going to be making
No,
any
they're
acquisitions anytime soon. But
no, they have their own
yeah,
thing and it's whatever.
right.
Yep. Yep. Call of Duty's landing. So I don't think this is going to do much for Game Pass.
I don't even understand it.
So Modern Warfare 3 lands on Game Pass today. The reason why I
Like
don't think it's
today.
going to do anything is
Hmm.
anybody who wanted to play that is one of the most
Well,
popular
to be
titles.
clear, this is the game that came out last October,
Yeah.
right? So this is like the current game. So what are we? 3 months away from the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I
People
mean,
have
I
already
don't know
bought
how
it.
they do drops anymore, but is there one more big,
So
I don't
there
know,
isn't. So starting
DLC
today,
drop?
actually, there's a new
Yeah.
season becomes available.
Okay.
But that's not
I know. Just
right.
well, I mean, maybe there are some people that like to play the single player campaign and haven't. This
Yeah.
game to me is not the deal. Like, I don't understand. There's five previous Black Ops games, five, including the new and the old series,
Mm-hmm.
previous Modern Warfare games. There are the historic games, the World War II games. Why are they not on? Like, isn't bringing the catalog? Are people running out buying Call of Duty 2 right now? Like, why aren't
Who's
they
buying
there?
Modern Warfare 3 right now, right? That sales cycle should be at the very tail end.
Yep. I don't know. I misread that when the first headline I saw, I thought it said it was something like Microsoft is bringing a Call of Duty game to Game Pass, but it's not the one you want. And then it said what I read it as was Call of Duty 3.
Mm.
I was like, guys, come on. But which is, well, maybe it's not the worst one anymore, but at the time was probably, well, at the time it was why they went to Modern Warfare, right? It just didn't perform,
Yeah.
and it was also I think it was the first Treyarch game. And
Do you think there's any concern from them that hear me out on this?
Mhm.
So like I pay for Game Pass, I have Call of Duty or whatever, and I don't buy in-game transactions, but
Yep.
there's a certain percentage of the population that does.
Mhm.
So
And they're probably pretty lucrative, honestly.
yeah, right. That's a business model we know works. If they come
Yep.
out and start dumping these old titles, right, the old Black Ops, which I would love to go back and play again,
Yep.
that pulls people away from the current Call of Duties, which actually has
Oh,
monetization
well,
paths, where like a
so I've
Black Ops
done
2
that
does not.
in years where the current game at the time wasn't that compelling, like Infinity War or whatever that was called was
Hmm.
one of them. There were a couple in there that were like whatever. I went back and was replaying old Call of Duties, and of course they've also done those remasters, right? So actually that adds to the numbers I just said there, because Modern Warfare, the original 1 and 2, but not 3, were both remastered. Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, maybe, but then I don't know. There's always been something squirrely going on here when we think about day one games,
Hmm.
coming to Game Pass. I'm probably going to get some of the details wrong. We're just kind of talking off the cuff here, but I believe if you went and looked at the Xbox app or whatever, you would see, for example, I think it's like Flight Sim might be one where Flight Simulator is a game where there are multiple product editions, and the one you get through Game Pass is, I think, this just the standard edition,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So technically, game or Flight Sim came to Game Pass on day one, but only one of the versions of it, right? So it's not there's still
Mhm.
that upsell opportunity. And I'm pretty sure all of the world updates they've done and whatever the plane updates and so forth, I'm almost positive are available to everybody, like Game Pass, etc. Right? But I don't know what differentiates these things, but there were probably other games like that where there were different product editions and Game Pass. So I mean, you could almost solve the Call of Duty problem in a really crappy way by being like, all right, well, Game Pass is going to get Call of Duty on day one, but it's just going to be single player, or something like that, right?
There would be
Uh,
riots in the street.
I know, but I'm just saying there are ways around this,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, are some of the old Call of Duty games good enough that they might sabotage the more current titles that are generating like ongoing DLC
Mhm.
revenue? I mean, yeah, of course they are, but come on, I mean, you had so many years and months to plot this out. Like putting Call of Duty Ghosts on Game Pass is not going to kill Modern Warfare, whatever you're doing now, or the next
Yeah.
Black Ops or whatever. Like, I don't know. They may. I don't know. Do you think there's an audience of people who on Game Pass, PC or Xbox would be playing multiplayer OG Modern Warfare?
Well, part of me wonders too is like some of them back then were peer-to-peer server.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
I don't even know if all the multiplayer works in all of the older titles because I can't remember if any of them had servers or not.
I've done this, so there are older games. I'm going to get these wrong, but I don't remember. But where like when the remastered Warfare 1 came out, there were people playing it because it was kind of new again at the time. But if you go back and play the old, like when Modern Warfare 2 was remastered, they didn't add the multiplayer. So finding people to play that game was pretty hard, And of course, those worlds were split. So you had console, actually it was split more than that. You had Xbox, PlayStation, and PC were all their own little worlds, at the time. So when you go online, like you're just dealing with whatever the audience is, and now it's like a decade later or whatever. So there's no one there, So I mean, I know there's all these logistics here, but I just don't get I would shut up for months if they just put the old Call of Duty games on there, I'd be
Months.
pretty
You
happy
hear that,
with that.
Microsoft? Months.
Months. All I know is like until yesterday, it's been what's it, July 9/3. I mean, it's been almost a year since this acquisition, and we got Diablo. And we knew that Call of Duty, the next Black Ops, was coming in late October, and now we have one more game. So
Supposedly the next content drop is going to be August 8th with looks like maybe Crash Bandicoot. So
okay, but seriously, we're going to dribble these things out one at a time.
Of course they're going to dribble them out. They're going to do every single one, and that's the
I know,
way
but why not do? Why didn't they start in January or March or whatever? Like
because they wanted.
I guess they technically did in March, but you know what I'm saying.
There's probably some metric tied to their bonuses because this all started after the fiscal year, right? They raised the price and they're like, okay,
interesting.
these are the levers we're going to pull to get people to subscribe next year.